Hey there, welcome back to my channel. We are on lesson 182 of A Course in Miracles workbook lessons. I hope you guys are well. Okay, so lesson 182. Out of the review into the meat of the lessons once again, thank goodness. Although the reviews are really good. I will be still an instant and go home. Oof. Amazing. This world you seem to live in is not home to you. And somewhere in your mind, you know that this is true. A memory of home keeps haunting you as if there were a place that called you to return, although you do not recognize the voice, nor what it is the voice reminds you of. Yet still you feel an alien here from somewhere all unknown. Nothing so definite that you could say with certainty you are an exile here. Just a persistent feeling, sometimes not more than a tiny throb, at other times hardly remembered, actively dismissed, but surely to return to mind again. Yes, this is until we really solidify our practice in staying in the remembrance and going back there every time you get bopped out, you get kicked out. You know that it's almost, it might be a constant, what feels like a battle for a long time, but eventually you will be able to sustain. But it does take a concerted effort to really put these applications to use. And soon it will be just a default, a knee-jerk. Boom, I got bounced out. I know how to get right back in an instant. So hopefully we'll be able to achieve that and feel the ease of that. The more we do this consistently, and it might take several go-arounds for the lesson, but you're gonna be attracting other things that are gonna help you with this process faster, more seamlessly. So, because thankfully the planet is waking up little by little, and the work we do, anybody that's doing this work is actively contributing to the awakening of this planet. Because it's a projection, it is a vibration, and it's a ripple effect. No one but knows whereof we speak. Yet some try to put by their suffering in games they play to occupy their time and keep their sadness from them. Others will deny that they are sad and do not recognize their tears at all. Still others will maintain that what we speak of is illusion, not to be considered more than but a dream. Yet who, in simple honesty, without defensiveness and self-deception, would deny he understands the words we speak? We speak today for everyone who walks this world, for he is not at home. He goes uncertainly about in endless search, seeking in darkness what he cannot find, not recognizing what it is he seeks. 1,000 homes he makes, yet none contents his restless mind. He does not understand he builds in vain. The home he seeks cannot be made by him. There is no substitute for heaven. All he ever made was hell. Absolutely. This dream state, this illusory, sometimes feels fantastic, but in an instant can just drop right out from under us. And we feel like we're right back in hell. And you're just like, why can I stabilize happiness? Because we're focusing on these external things to control our inner state. And the key is we need to first change this to change this. We need this and this to be in coherence, basically the heart and the brain. And it can be done. And meditation is one of the most effective ways that it can be done, and you can course correct. It's the dream is hard. There is a lot of suffering. There's a lot of pain, but you can wake up. It can be done, but we got to keep doing this work. Got to keep doing this work. Okay. I'll repeat this. 1,000 homes he makes, yet none contents his restless mind. He does not understand he builds in vain. The home he seeks cannot be made by him. There is no substitute for heaven. All he ever made was hell. Perhaps you think it is your childhood home that you would find again. The childhood of your body and its place of shelter are a memory now so distorted that you merely hold a picture of a past that never happened. Yet there is a child in you who seeks his father's house and knows that he is alien here. This childhood is eternal, with an innocence that will endure forever. Where this child shall go is holy ground. It is his holiness that lights up heaven, and that brings to earth the pure reflection of the light above, wherein are earth and heaven joined as one. It is this child in you your Father knows as his own son. It is this child who knows his Father. He desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly, his voice cries unto you to let him rest a while. He does not ask for more than just a few instants of respite, just an interval in which he can return to breathe again the holy air that fills his Father's house. You are his home as well. He will return. But give him just a little time to be himself, within the peace that is his home, resting in silence and in peace and in love. This child needs your protection. He is far from home. He is so little that he seems so easily shut out. His tiny voice so readily obscured, his call for help almost unheard amid the grating sounds and harsh and rasping noises of the world. Yet does he know that in you still abides his sure protection. You will fail him not. He will go home and you along with him. I started to feel that like softness, even for like specific people that I've been struggling with in my family, the past, and they're coming up. My family is already in the current, but the past is coming up. And, you know, when you look at those that really trigger you, or you hold on to these past memories of them, you know, you see them for what their ego was doing. And it is so important to look beyond all of that if you can. Look beyond the body, look beyond, be past their errors, beyond that. Because if you have truly forgiven your own, you can look at them and say, they know not what they do. They do not know what is going on. And they may have seen glimmers, but when you can look at the Christ within them, you will basically you are giving them the grace and giving them, which is basically space, wiggle room to learn and to grow and to heal. Whether they do it or not is really none of our business. But just by seeing their light, they're already healed, their healed true self. And usually, even if it's an ex and you were put through the ringer, the whole reason why you let them in is because you did see their light, but you also saw their sins. And many of us try to, when we're healers and we're empaths, we want to fix. Well, the fact that we're acknowledging their sins and their problems is not fixing them. They are feeling more diminished as you are shining your light, trying to give them the solutions to their problems. By us focusing on their issues, sins, hurts, their own past trauma, we have exacerbated the problem, and we are not at all aligned to help with their healing. So we are in Mercury retrograde. I don't go into astrology too much because I don't know that much about astrology, but I think we're still in Mercury retrograde, where some of the past will come up, past people will come up, and it happened for me, and I immediately just shut it down. But I realized I can still see the Christ in them from afar. But I'll be honest, a lot of past hurt and trauma bubbled up to the surface, 1000%. And then my healed self said, none of it really happened, because the truth wasn't acting out. The illusion was acting out. The ego was lashing out on both sides. So, and timing is always so perfectly in line with the lessons of the day, of the week. I'm behind still, so I'm supposed to be 5 lessons forward. But funny enough, doing this lesson now and the things that are happening right now are perfectly in tune for the miracle to take place. And that is a healing. The miracle is the healing. When you are still an instant, when the world recedes from you, when valueless ideas cease to have value in your restless mind, then will you hear his voice. So poignantly, he calls to you that you will not resist him longer. In that instant, he will take you to his home, and you will stay with him in perfect stillness, silent and at peace, beyond all words, untouched by fear and doubt, sublimely certain that you are at home. Rest with him frequently today, for he was willing to become a little child that you might learn of him. How strong is he who comes without defenses, offering only love's messages to those who think he is their enemy. He holds the might of heaven in his hand and calls them friend, and gives his strength to them that they may see he would be friend to them. He asks that they protect him, for his home is far away, and he will not return to it alone. Christ is reborn as but a little child each time a wanderer would leave his home. For he must learn that what he would protect is but this child, who comes defenseless and who is protected by defenselessness. Go home with him from time to time today. You are as much an alien here as he. Take time today to lay aside your shield, which profits nothing, and lay down the spear and sword you raised against an enemy without existence. Christ has called you friend and brother. He has even come to ask your help in letting him go home today, completed and completely. He has come as does a little child who must beseech his father for protection and for love. He rules the universe, and yet he asks unceasingly that you return with him and take illusions as your gods no more. You have not lost your innocence. It is for this you yearn. This is your heart's desire. This is the voice you hear, and this the call which cannot be denied. The Holy Child remains with you. His home is yours. Today he gives you his defenselessness, and you accept it in exchange for all the toys of battle you have made. And now the way is open, and the journey has an end in sight at last. Be still an instant and go home with him and be at peace a while. Wow. This lesson felt as spiritual as that definition can exude. It was everything that the why we should be meditating, why we should be taking a pause every time we want to knee-jerk react. Take a moment and be still, and we will hear the voice. It will take a detachment from the trigger or whatever is bouncing you out. Because if you are in the box of kind of the nothingness of space, with that comes the grace and the love and the voice, and then you get bounced out. We like to react when we get bounced out because the trigger is so fast, but be still a moment, even for those reactionary moments, but do the meditations, any meditations. Be still, be at peace, and know that all of your worries will just dissipate. They will dissipate with that voice, in that stillness, in that peace. You are giving yourself the grace to take a step back, detach, give it a pause, and they're just like, yes, we got you, because you are coming to us. And it is about kind of turning your back on that trigger. But you're not turning your back on the individual. If it is, it's usually an individual that's the trigger. It's very hard. I mean, maybe a car will trigger you because it breaks down, but that's pretty easy to bounce back from. But when it's like another soul, another very strong energy triggering you, you're not turning your back on the individual. You are turning your back on the illusion. And you're going to the only place that can offer you help in that moment. So stay there. And that person will not see your back turned to them. They will feel the space that you're giving and the grace that you're giving by not quickly reacting with anger and judgment and criticizing, just taking a pause. Your silence might be taken as a rejection, but there are no private minds. If your silence is remembering Christ, seeing the Christ in them, and going to God and giving it all over to the Creator, they will feel that. They will know that. You will never have to worry about that, because it's your ego that's worrying about that. Your Christ self doesn't have to worry about that, because you are doing everything in your human power, but in your spiritual power, in your Christ self, to go to the only thing that can fortify you in the situation. So, lesson 182. Wowza. I will be still an instant and go home. And that's all it is. You're going home, and you have glimpses of that feeling of home, that comfort. It's a remembering. And all this other bullshit, that's why it feels so bad, because it's not peace. It's not who you truly are, and that's why it feels horrible. But trust that everything, all of the illusionary shit is going to get corrected on its own, and you won't really even care, because you're sitting in the peace and the space with God. Thank you for joining me. God bless you. Love you. Till next lesson. Take care.